Welcome to my channel. Have you ever picked up a coin, maybe something lying around in your car's cup holder or at the bottom of a change jar, and wondered what secrets it might be hiding? To most, a coin is just a tool for transaction, something passed from hand to hand, barely given a second thought. But for a select few, for those who pay attention to the tiny details, a simple coin can be a window into history, a portal to a different era, and sometimes, even a small treasure. Today, we're diving deep into one such coin. A coin that has traveled through decades, changed countless hands, witnessed economic shifts, societal changes, and possibly even rode in a few pockets during key moments in American history. I'm talking about the 1971 United States quarter dollar, with a mint mark D for Denver. And what may surprise you is that this unassuming little coin could be worth a whole lot more than 25 cents. In fact, in the right condition, this coin can fetch up to $115. Intrigued? You should be. Let's unfold its story. Coins were no longer backed by precious metals in the way they had been in previous decades. But their cultural significance, their role in everyday life, and their importance in commerce remained unchanged. Now, you might be wondering, wait, Washington quarter? I thought we were talking about Roosevelt. And that's a great question, because it points to a common misconception. The Roosevelt design appears on the dime, while the quarter features George Washington, the first president of the United States. The confusion is understandable. Both coins have similar silverish finishes, both bear the profile of a statesman, and both are integral parts of American coinage. But make no mistake, the 1971 quarter dollar is very much a Washington quarter. The Washington quarter design dates back to 1932, commemorating the bicentennial of George Washington's birth. The artist behind the original design was John Flanagan, a sculptor whose profile of Washington was based on a bust by Jean-Antoine Houdon. On the obverse side, Washington faces left. His expression is calm but strong, idealized yet approachable. The date, 1971, appears at the bottom, and if your coin was minted in Denver, a small D will be present just to the right of the ribbon tying his hair. It's subtle, easy to miss, but incredibly important. Let's talk about minting. The U.S. Mint uses engraved steel dies to strike coins, one for the obverse, and one for the reverse. These dies are subjected to intense pressure, striking blank metal discs called planchets into finished coins. Over time, dies wear out, develop cracks, or become misaligned, resulting in a fascinating array of mint errors. In the case of the 1971 D quarter, collectors have identified several such varieties: double dies, off-center strikes, and more. These anomalies, while unintended, can drastically increase the value of a coin. In the case of the 1971 D quarter, those top-grade specimens, especially those graded MS 65 and above, are highly sought after. Why? Because despite the large mintage, very few of these coins survived without wear. Coins are handled roughly. They're passed around, dropped, scraped, and jostled with other coins. So when collectors stumble upon a high-grade 1971 D quarter, it's a genuine rarity. Of course, stories like these fuel the treasure hunting aspect of numismatics, the hobby of coin collecting. It's what keeps people checking their pocket change, scouring flea markets, or combing through coin rolls from the bank. And with good reason. The right find can be worth hundreds, or in some rare cases, thousands, of dollars, but the appeal of the 1971 D quarter isn't just in its potential value. It's in its place in American history. Think of the hands it might have passed through. A soldier returning from Vietnam. A child buying candy from a corner store. A protester in Washington, D.C. A commuter paying for a toll. Each coin is a tiny time capsule, holding silent stories of the past. So now we come to the question that brought you here: how much is the 1971 D quarter actually worth today? The answer, like most things in collecting, depends on several factors. If your coin is heavily circulated, with scratches, nicks, and dull surfaces, it's probably only worth its face value, 25 cents. That's the reality for most of the 258 million quarters struck that year. But if your coin has avoided the wear and tear of everyday life, if it glows with original mint luster, if it has no contact marks or discoloration, it might be worth a lot more. So the next time you get a handful of change, take a closer look. Examine the quarters. Look for that tiny D mint mark. Study the details. Does it still shine? Are the ridges on the edge sharp? Is the surface free from scratches? Could it be a hidden gem? It's a fun and rewarding way to connect with history. After all, coins are everywhere, but knowledge, that's the real currency. And now, you have it. You know what to look for. You know the story behind the 1971 D quarter. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be the one to find the next valuable piece of the past hiding in plain sight. In the bustling heart of mid-20th century America, a single coin quietly slid from the mint presses in Denver, a $quarter, dated 1974, bearing a small yet significant D mark. Unremarkable to the casual eye, it jingled its way into countless pockets, cash registers, and coin jars. But little did anyone know back then, nearly half a century later, this very coin would catch the attention of collectors, historians, and curious minds across the globe. The 1974 $quarter. Just another coin? Not quite. Let's rewind the clock a bit and set the stage for the era that gave birth to this coin. The year was 1974. America was navigating a turbulent sea of change. The Vietnam War was drawing to a close, public trust in government was shaken by the unfolding Watergate scandal, and inflation was starting to gnaw at the economy. Amidst these larger-than-life headlines, smaller changes, like the production of a 25-cent piece, seemed trivial, perhaps invisible. And yet, they were quietly chronicling the daily lives of millions. The 1974 quarter bore the now familiar image of George Washington, first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. His stoic profile, facing left, had become synonymous with American change. But look closer at the 1974 coin minted in Denver, and you begin to appreciate the subtle yet remarkable details. And then, the date, 1974, neatly etched below Washington's neckline, flanked subtly by a small D to the right. That D stands for the Denver Mint, one of the few mints actively producing coins for circulation in the United States. It's this little letter that sets this coin apart. Well, here's where it gets interesting. So, while hundreds of millions were minted, only a precious handful have been found in pristine, uncirculated condition, graded MS-67 or higher. It's these elite few that drive up the coin's value astronomically, but it's not just condition that can turn a modest 25-cent piece into a valuable collectible. Sometimes, it's about the mistakes. You see, errors and anomalies in the minting process can make certain coins wildly sought after. Double dies, off-center strikes, misaligned planchets, and even coins struck on the wrong metal planchets, these quirks create instant intrigue. They turn everyday change into numismatic legends. Collectors often speak of the perfect storm in coin collecting: rarity, demand, and condition. The 1974 D quarter checks more boxes than you'd think. Now let's talk design, because design is often overlooked, but it speaks volumes. The reverse side of the quarter in 1974 carried the classic image of the heraldic eagle, its wings spread, clutching a bundle of arrows, olive branches resting beneath. This symbol, another nod to peace and strength, was a staple on U.S. quarters until the state quarters program began in 1999. For decades, this eagle was a symbol not just of a nation, but of stability in the American pocket. So when you hold a 1974 D quarter, you're not just holding metal. You're holding a snapshot of a time when the nation was both proud and weary, optimistic and uncertain. It's a piece of history that endured decades in drawers, jars, and sometimes even the dusty corners of antique stores. But who decides how much a coin like this is worth today? Enter the world of coin grading and auction houses, a place where experts examine every ridge and rim under powerful lenses, where subtle imperfections can mean the difference between a few dollars and a few thousand. For the 1974 D quarter, the vast majority still trade hands for face value, yes, 25 cents. If you fish one out of your change today, chances are it's circulated, scratched, and worn. But if you were lucky enough to discover one in mint state condition, say, graded MS-67, then you're in a very different ballpark, which brings us to the real kicker. A particularly sharp and clean specimen of the 1974 D quarter recently sold for a remarkable $117. That's 468 times its face value. Not bad for a coin that could have easily ended up under a couch cushion or dropped in a parking lot. And here's the best part, this wasn't even the most pristine coin out there. As grading technology improves and more coins are evaluated, it's possible even higher values could be reached, and that's the thrill of numismatics. The thrill of discovery. Think about it, how many 1974 D quarters are still out there, sitting unnoticed in dusty jars, forgotten in childhood piggy banks, waiting patiently in old rolls. Each one is a time traveler, a tiny ambassador from an era long gone, holding the potential to surprise and delight. From a turbulent chapter in American history, the 1974 D quarter emerged quietly, like so many others. But through the eyes of a collector, a historian, or a dreamer, it shines with quiet brilliance. A coin with a D, for Denver, for detail, and perhaps most importantly, for discovery. And now, as we wrap up this journey through time, remember this: sometimes the most ordinary things, like a 25-cent coin, can tell the most extraordinary stories. They may not always glitter with gold, but they shine with meaning, with memory, and with a touch of mystery. So check your pockets. You never know what treasures are waiting to be found.